going to talk about former President Donald Trump winning the Iowa caucus in a landslide over rivals Ron DeSantis and Nikki Haley, with Trump taking more than 50% of the vote. Many wondering, are the rest of the primaries a formality? Joining us now to discuss, we've got BTIG Director of Policy Research, Isaac Boltansky. And Isaac, thanks so much for sticking around with us. We appreciate it. I'm curious, when we think about what happened last night in the Iowa caucus, and then we think about what's to come in New Hampshire, to what extent is there a read-through between these two events?
Yeah, look, I think when we take a step back, Trump was expected to win Iowa. He won Iowa. He crushed in Iowa just as expected. To me, the most important undercurrent from last night is that Ron DeSantis got second place. If he was in third place, I think that we would be talking about him dropping out today, at which point you could see some of the Trump opposition coalesce around Nikki Haley. But it looks like he's on to New Hampshire, which means that Trump opposition remains fractured, which is the best possible news for the former president. President Trump going into New Hampshire with his opposition fractured, he's still ahead in the polls. And I think that his campaign is feeling very optimistic today, as they should, after not just what happened last night, but also going into New Hampshire knowing that the anti-Trump wing of the party still hasn't picked its horse.
But do you think, Isaac, I mean, put your bet down for me here. Bottom line, do you think this is a done deal? It's Trump versus Biden?
Yeah, no, look, yes. The simple answer is yes. I think there's Trump v. Biden in 2024. And what I found interesting, both from our DC contacts and our market clients, there has been a fair amount of folks just brushing that off, who don't want to believe it's, after all of this, it's going to be Biden v. Trump again. There is still some belief in some corners, some hopium, some might say, that you might get other candidates who will rise up. Trump is the powerhouse right now on the Republican side. I think the way that the primaries are structured with winner take all, this is his race. I think that he will be clearly the nominee around Super Tuesday, which is March 5th. That'll be done. And Biden is the presumptive nominee. Doesn't matter what Congressman Dean Phillips is trying to do. Biden will be the nominee. So after all of this, in 4 years, it looks like we're going to have a rematch of the 2020 race.
So let me ask you, Isaac, if it's going to be Trump and Biden, I'm just curious, who drops out first then? Is it DeSantis or Haley? And when do you think they drop out? Is Haley before or after South Carolina?
Yeah, look, I think that Haley stays in through South Carolina. My sense of this is that you're going to see DeSantis drop out shortly after New Hampshire. I don't think that he is going to have a strong showing in New Hampshire. And let's keep in mind, let's look at the historical precedent here. Iowa has not been good at picking who the nominee is. If you look back at the 7 previous GOP primaries, they've only picked right twice. New Hampshire has picked correctly 5 times. And part of that is because there is a more moderate bend to the electorate in the GOP side in New Hampshire. And I think that we've seen DeSantis move to the right and try to move even to the right of Trump on some issues. That's going to hurt him in New Hampshire. And so I think that he will drop out, and I think that you will see some of those voters move to Nikki Haley. I think you'll see others just simply stay home during primary day. And all of that adds up to Trump being the presidential nominee for the Republican Party.
And Isaac, I was on the campaign trail in 2016 and 2020, and we've learned that it really comes down to a handful of states to the tune of 7. What do you know about what the polling indicates to us about what is going to decide for voters, what they are going to decide on when they enter the voting booths in those 7 states?
You know, first, I'll parrot the Federal Reserve Chairman and say I think we should all be humble as we think about this. No one knows what we're going to be talking about in 3 months, let alone in November of next year. What I tell my clients, though, is that this is going to be an incredibly close race. And you don't need me to tell you that. Just look at 2020.
Right.
We saw an election that was decided by 44,000 voters in 3 states. And you didn't have some of the competing complexities that we have now, including an economy that anyone who says they understand isn't paying attention. And you have a geopolitical dynamic that continues to show how volatile it's going to be. And then, in case we needed more to make it difficult, you've got third-party candidates who can swing any of these individual states. It's going to be incredibly close. It's going to be contested, and it's going to be down to the wire.
Isaac, let's switch gears and talk about what's going on in Washington as well. We're just, what are we, Isaac, about 3 days here from a partial government shutdown. A lot of moving pieces and dynamics at play here. How do you see that playing out?
You know, we're in earnings season, right? And this is all about managing expectations. And when we think about back on this Congress, expectations were exceedingly low for them to do anything. And yet they continue to miss those even exceedingly low expectations with their performance. My sense of this is that we will get an agreement that funds the government into March. It will be a laddered approach that gives us two different deadlines. March 1st and March 8th is what they're circling. Maybe you push those back a little bit further. But it strikes me, and I think it's noteworthy here, that we are already months into the 2024 fiscal year, and we're still fighting over budget levels. And that tells you how divided Congress is, how inept this Congress is. But it also shows, and I think underscores, that they're trying to build a Christmas tree right now. And they realize that they have so much unfinished work that they're now trying to build a Christmas tree that'll allow everyone to hang an ornament on it. You can have one ornament for Ukraine funding, another for border spending, another with this tax deal that we've heard. And that's really the only option for anything to happen, because they have failed miserably to move any specific legislative proposals across the goal line.
Well, Isaac, let's talk about that tax deal that you mentioned. They did strike a deal, $78 billion one. Talk to us about that tax credit, what people need to know about it, and what the passage of it and that bipartisanship indicates to you about what lawmakers may be able to tackle on the policy front moving forward.
You know, there's a phrase that I always come back to, which is a good compromise should leave everyone a little bit unhappy. And that's what this tax package is. You have something that makes Republicans happy, which is extending some expired business tax credits. And here I'm referencing the R&D tax credit, the EBITDA tax credit, and then the expensing tax credit. All of these should be good for capital intensive companies in the utility space and the manufacturing space. And you couple that with an extension and expansion, not as generous as we've seen before, but an extension and expansion of the child tax credit, which is something the Democrats have been fighting for. This should become law. We just need to make sure that there is a Christmas tree, as I mentioned before, a broader legislative vehicle in the form of a budget agreement that allows it to catch a ride to the president's desk.